Got vision and destiny. Add elemental, that's chemistry. All those heroes, that's infinity. It's endgame.
Yugi peoples, welcome to the deck profile for my top 4 and nearly undefeated. Well, I went undefeated in Swiss. Second place, Cosmo Neos deck. But yeah, so I felt like one of the biggest problems with Cosmo Neos was like all the spell cards that we try to put off in there, all the in shuffles, the engage Neo space, the Neos fusions, and all that stuff. And it basically came down to where if you didn't draw one of those power spell cards, you just couldn't really do the combo unless you had like Crosskeeper and a way to get, like Spirit of Neos out on the board. So it made it, pretty inconsistent and stuff. And I wanted to keep the deck like really competitive. I wanted to be able to also win when I was going second, without the Cosmos Neos and everything and stuff. So this is the build that I came up with. It basically uses our standard, most consistent hero combos, the combo that, we typically use to bring out DPE, Dark Law with favorite contact set, get Dark Angel out there. It's basically like the same combo line, you're just adding different cards. So tomorrow, I do believe I will upload a combo tutorial video to show y'all the 2 main combos that are used in order to get, this gets Cosmos Neos and gets DPE out on the board, because they still able to set stuff. So it's really good to be able to pop whatever Unchained card they set, or to be able to pop back row with DPE's effect and do that. So yeah. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get ready to jump into this deck profile. But first of all, shout out to my sponsors over at Meta TCG. Save 5% with my code Mhero. If you get ready to buy from them on eBay or TCG Player, switch it over to their website and use my code. Save yourself 5%. And then also to my other sponsor, best vendor in Texas, Alfred Johnson. Hit him up. He's got a website, ogtcg.com. You can use my same code, Mhero, and save yourself 5% there as well. And yeah, don't forget also with Meta TCG, y'all can get more than Yu-Gi-Oh! They got Pokemon, Digimon, all that stuff. And they also buy cards. They buy bulk. So go ahead and get them that stuff, y'all, because they'll definitely buy it from you and give you, the monies that you deserve for it. All right, so jumping into the deck profile here, you'll see the, basically standard hero kind of ish. We got the triple Stratos for consistency. I felt like this was, the better way to play it. You really, like in some builds, some of my deck profiles, y'all have heard me talk about how Bayon is the best normal summon. But in particular for this deck, you have to have the 2 E-Heroes, and Stratos, is like the main one that we really need. So you have to, I like to run in 3 of them. And then for the purposes of the combo and how it works, you have to run 2 of the vanilla Neos. And, when I show y'all the combo video tomorrow, you'll see the main reason why. But the first reason why is because on that first time you poly and you bring out your Infernal Rage, you're going to need one of these to be able to tribute that Infernal Rage, because you need to get to Sunrise and need to be able to get to Miracle Fusion as well. And then the second one is used at the end of the combo when you use Neos Fusion, because you have to send him to the graveyard along with, whatever monster in order to, use Neos Fusion. So yeah. Then of course, 1 Spirit of Neos is needed for the combo, absolute. This card is not necessarily needed, but it's a bonus if you draw it. You get to draw cards, and then also when you're going second, it's one of those, draw cards, get to your side deck cards. Also, it's your way to get to Ab-Zero in case, there were like times where I Book of Eclipse somebody and then blew up their entire field with Ab-Zero. So yeah, he's pretty important for that role. And then 1 Shadow Miss, he's Shadow Miss. You don't really want to draw that card, but sending him off of Ion, is pretty good, or discarding him off of Ferris is really good. So yeah, so kind of typical E-Hero lineup, except for these 3 right here, but pretty typical for a Neos build. So we got those right there. This will be my E-Heroes. And then my Vision Heroes, which I know is kind of weird to see inside of Cosmo Neos deck, but yeah, like I was saying, like one of the one of the biggest problems I saw with running Cosmo Neos was, like I said, if you don't draw the spell cards that aren't necessarily easily searchable, because they're searchable through Spirit of Neos, yes, but you don't always have a way to get Spirit of Neos out on the board, because you can't just like special summon him or normal summon him. You got to have like cross keeper or some kind of way, or like in shuffle with another elemental hero in order to get them out on the board. So in order to give the deck the consistency that our standard hero builds, I worked in the Vision Hero package. It's pretty important to get to it. Most of the, the main combo line does involve Ferris. Like, hey, it is what it is. Like, the thing that I like about it the most is like, it makes the combo easily searchable with our normal cards. Like Hero Lives, Stratos, pretty much gets there. And yeah, it gives you access to Cosmo Neos, instead of, setting up, these kind of unbreakable boards where, it's just like if you can get to Dark Angel, you get to Rivalry and stuff, you can set it up, but instead we can just completely just skip their turn. The only thing, is like about this deck is that you do have to run a couple more bricks than you would normally have to. So there go the Vision Hero stuff. All right, then my Destiny heroes, we got 2 Mally and Denier. All right. So, when I was building the deck originally, I didn't think that I would need this package, but it's better to have DPE out there because, like I said, there are some decks that are still going to set stuff like Unchained. They'll still set a monster. You have to destroy it. They'll special summon but stuff back or whatever. But if you go ahead and DPE pop that Unchained monster, then, it keeps them from, they can't activate effects that entire turn. So if you go ahead and pop it, they can't activate the effect to special summon another one. And, it keeps them from having, that floating thing going. So when I first started working and doing the deck and trying to find out combos, I thought that I needed this in order to make it, but you really don't need it. I mean, sometimes when you draw it, it makes it a little bit better. It gives you a little bit better follow-up and stuff, just depending on how the game is going. Also, when going second, it's a little bit better for climbing up and stuff like that. But this card can actually be cut from the deck. I don't think it's just like dead necessary as the other cards. You can actually like cut this. And, if you're a little bit more wild, you can also cut the one increase, cut one of the increases as well, because like I said, like you have to already include a little bit more bricks than you normally would, like the extra vanilla Neos, which, like I said, if you didn't want to play the Denier, you really don't have to. It's not needed for the combo that I will show y'all tomorrow, the combos that I will show y'all tomorrow. But, these are needed for the combo, to special summon Cosmos Neos. Well, this could be Hummingbird, it just kind of depends on you. But one of the things I liked about it is like at the end of the combo, when you do Neos Fusion to bring out the Elemental Hero Aqua Neos, you do get that destroy a random card inside of your opponent's hand. So, if there were plenty of times where I got hand trapped and it wasn't enough to stop my combo, and then I was able to at the end get another card out of their hand. So, it really limited their options on what they were able to set or be able to do, going into my my turn to finish them off. So, but like I said, this could be Hummingbird. Hummingbird might be a little bit better, like with the time rules and stuff. So, it's just kind of dependent on you. But yeah, these are pretty much needed. And when I was building the deck, and I was talking about the extra cards that are, the extra bricks and stuff that you need to run, it's pretty much these cards right here. And the way I looked at it, it's like one of them is kind of like Dark Angel for, the people that are playing Dark Angel. Then one of them is, probably like the plasma and stuff that you're running off in there. And then originally I was like, okay, well, one of them's really Denier too, even though I did end up running the Denier. I don't think in my second place run that I got, there were a couple of times where I used Denier, but it just was not necessary for the combo at all. And like I said, I'll show y'all that later. And then, kind of like essentially I felt like I was only running like one or two extra bricks inside of the deck that I normally would, because, you know, with heroes and stuff, it's just like if you draw plasma a lot of times, it's like in order for him to be useful, you got to get all those monsters out on the board first. And then, you know, it's the same thing with Dark Angel. You know, there are specific, you know, things that you have to do in order to make that card useful. And, you know, I looked at it as the same way as these cards aren't like, well, except for Grand Mode, there were quite a few times where I summoned the Grand Mode. There were times where I summoned the Dolphin and, you know, I was just like, you know, doing, you know, hand ripping stuff, or, you know, before I go into my Ferris and before my Ferris line, you know, go ahead and look at it, see if I can get that Ash out their hand. Or when they had monsters, like I used it to like out like Crusadia Evermax. And I think there was one time where the Hopebringer Harbinger had my polymerization equipped to it that I needed. And, you know, I just summoned Grand Mole, attacked into him, got my poly into the graveyard, and I was able to like Wonder Driver and do some plays and stuff. So yeah, these two aren't necessarily so bad. There was one time where I thought I was going to use this, but against the Mirajade, it's like you have to send a fusion monster with Albaz listed off in there. So it didn't, before I did it, I was like, wait, let me check this out specifically, because I thought maybe it just said fusion monster, but yeah. But this is like the only one I don't think I ever really normal summon. But these two I did normal summon at times. But yeah, so that's kind of like the way I looked at it as far as like the bricks and stuff go for the deck. Then let's go ahead and look at my spell lineup. We got a Hero Lives here, 3 of those. Of course, one of the combo lines involves that card. 3 of the Drip, awesome card. Now with Cash Tiragon, this card is so good inside of Heroes. And then, you know, my other board breaker, 3 Book of Eclipse, you know, just really good for flipping all your monsters face down, flipping all your opponent's first monsters face down. And yeah, we got 3 Thrust and 1 Tactics. I felt like Thrust, you know, was really good inside of this deck. You know, it allows us to get to a Hero Lives. It allows us to get to a reinforcement of the army, you know, or if you need one of the spells like In Shuffle or Neos Fusion or something like that. And it also allows us to set favorite contact, you know, depending on how your hand and stuff goes. So yeah, I like those cards. Then 2 polys, because sometimes, you know, your opponent knows to hit your Vion. So it's nice if you already have the polymerization. Then Miracle, Rhoda, Call by the Grave. So, you know, this is pretty standard for heroes. You know, right now we're getting ready to run. We're able to run the Drop It Again, double poly. You know, these cards typical. You know, these could be Book of Moons or whatever you decide to run inside the space. But, you know, that's what it is. And then, you know, I think like in a normal typical hero build, you're also running like the 3 Fusion Destinies and Mass Change. Well, instead of, you know, instead of the 3 Fusion Destinies, I have 1 of each of the targets for Spirit of Neos. This is the main one that you'll be using, is the Neos Fusion. And these other ones are kind of just like bonuses. If I draw, you know, 1 of them, it kind of helps. If I don't, it's not necessarily just needed. But, you know, when I put them off inside of the deck, you know, I was like, these are basically like the replacements for, you know, Mass Change and Fusion Destiny. So originally I was trying to run 3 of these, but in the end, I decided it was better to be like more, regular standard hero combo eccentric rather than playing the 3 Neos Fusions, because there were just times where I was just drawing like multiple ones of them. I think like in that first tournament where I got top 4, I was running 2 of them and I was just drawing it a whole lot. So when I reworked the deck, I ended up with just 1. I was running 2 of these. I ended up with just 1 and just 1. And it just made the deck a whole lot more consistent because I was able to add in more going second cards. So yeah, we got those off in there. And then of course the 1 favorite contact, the card that makes it all possible right there. And yeah, so that is the deck profile. I want to say it was like 42 cards. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. All right, yeah. So it's 42 cards. You could bring it down to 41 by taking out that denier. Like I said, he's not completely necessary. Like, he's good for when you're going second and you need follow-up and stuff like that. But most of the time, I just didn't really need it. So yeah, you could bring it down to 41 cards, add a little bit more consistency to the deck, and that'll, you know, do it. And going into my extra deck here, we got our regular Mhero lineup, Sunrise, Infernal Rage, Big Chill, and Wake Up. You know, all essential for, you know, hero extra decks. This board clear. This is to summon your Spirit of Neos, or OTK if you're going second. Sunrise, of course, to search out Miracle Fusion, and Infernal Rage to search out your favorite contact. Then for my Neos fusions, we got these guys right here. We got Cosmos Neos, Nebula Neos, our Shining Neos Wingman, then the three Mhero, Nebula, regular Neos fusion targets. The thing is, like, when you look at it, I really like this one. Should be Brave Neos. It should definitely be Brave Neos. Like, really, you don't need any of these. You replace, you know, you could run 2 Brave Neos or whatever, or however you want to do it. But this one should have been Brave Neos, but I didn't find my Brave Neos until like later on in the tournament. I went to summon out my Cosmos Neos, and I was like, man, this Cosmos Neos is kind of fat. And my Brave Neos was actually up under there this whole time. But, you know, shout out to Alfred. He did come through and bring me the Brave Neos, but I didn't want to do the deck profile with the Brave Neos off in there because I didn't actually like get to run it inside the tournament, because when I found it, the tournament had already started, and I didn't want to be changing my deck and like people say, oh, you cheated and stuff like that. So I ran it with this. So this should definitely be Brave Neos right here. These two I would actually leave inside of the extra deck, because there were times where, you know, I was able to Neos fusion into one of these. Like I said, at the end of the regular combo, you know, this is the Neos fusion target I like to bring out, because you can hit a random card inside of their hand by discarding one of your Neos patients that you added off of Infernal Devicer. And then sometimes, depending on what deck I was going against, like if it's like Unchained, you know, or something that has like a lot of floaty monsters, or a monster that's hard to out in battle, I use this one because you can target their monster and, you know, just return it to their hand. So yeah, these two, you know, were really good. This one I never used. This should definitely be Brave Neos. And another note, you know, that Denier that was off in there could be Crosskeeper. And the reason why, you know, I ended up replacing it and not running the Crosskeeper is because I didn't have Brave Neos, and I was just like, you know, I don't think I need the Crosskeeper if I don't have Brave Neos in my extra deck. So yeah, that Denier could be replaced with Crosskeeper, and then that way, you know, during the hands where you actually like draw the Dolphin or something like that, and you don't need to send it off of the Neos fusion, you can send that Crosskeeper instead, and, you know, get some extra draws with it. So yeah, there goes that. I didn't end up using this one. Like a lot of the times with the Cosmos Neos deck, you know, you miss on getting the Cosmos Neos part, and then you're able, you know, to do this instead. But every single time, like, I could have brought this out, I actually could have brought out Cosmos Neos. So, you know, like I said, it was very consistent with the lock on there. Then we got our Destiny hero, DPE. I feel like, you know, he's really good inside of the deck because your opponent is still able to set cards, and DPE can pop those set cards. And then plus, you know, he's just like really broken. And then this one right here, for in case you want to get another card out of your opponent's hand, or, you know, there are times where, like I said, where you don't necessarily have to Neos fusion, and you could go grab instant contact instead, and you can take like an extra card out of their hand. Just like, you know, it just all kind of depends on like how you drew, what the combo is looking like as you get ready to do it. But I really wanted to have this off in there as an instant contact target. And yeah, it worked out pretty good. And then the 3 link monsters that you usually don't see inside of Cosmos Neos. I mean, this one you see off inside there, but we got the Wonder Driver and the Cross Crusader. This is, you know, like I said, you're doing like the standard combo line that we do with Mhero. So these two are kind of needed to make that combo line work. And, you know, like I said, I'll show y'all the combo later. So, yeah, those are I'll show y'all tomorrow. And that's my deck. That's my Cosmos Neos deck. My extra deck, my side deck was basically like 3 crossouts, because like going into game 3s, you know, typically if I won, you know, game 1, going into game 3, I just wanted to go ahead and guarantee that whatever hand traps my opponent put in, I was able to counter them. And then also when going second, I wanted to be able to counter the D barrier And also, you know, kind of like the nib, because the nib keeps you from being able to OTK your opponent. I really rather not give my opponent another turn. So, you know, depending on what deck I was playing against, if I felt like they were playing nib, you know, I would side in the Cross Crusaders and stuff, and I mean side in the cross out designators. And you know, one of the things is like when you're going second with the deck, you're most likely not gonna Cosmo Neos lock your opponent. So side all those Neospacians out. You can side out the Spirit of Neos. You can side out the extra vanilla Neos. You can side out the Instant Contact, the In Shuffle, and the Neos Fusion. You know, it just kind of depends. Like I said, like if I'm playing against like Unchained or something, and you know they have all those floaty monsters, I would probably leave like the extra Neos in, leave in the Neos Fusion and the Grand Mole, you know, because the Grand Mole, you know, is pretty good, you know, with bouncing stuff back. So yeah, it's just kind of depending on the deck and what you're playing against, you know. But definitely I was always pretty much siding out the Dolphin and the Instant Contact, the Black Panther and stuff, because you probably most likely not going to use those going second. Like maybe the Panther, depending on like what deck you're playing against. If you can borrow an effect, go ahead and borrow an effect from your opponent and do that. But yeah, you'll see there's 2 Ash, 2 Droll. I felt like those are the most common ones that stop this deck. And yeah, but just to have these off in there just in case, I also need to cross those out as well. And then for winning in time, or you know, stopping my opponent in their tracks, you know, just so I can get a turn. And then back row removal, 2 Lightning Storms, Harpy Feather Duster, also searchable off of off of Thrust, along with D-Barrier, able to search off of Thrust and Set if necessary, also Imperm, you know, depending on, you know, what floats your boat. And yeah, that is my side deck right there. And that is my Cosmo Neos deck profile. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Combo video coming out tomorrow to show y'all like the 2 main combo lines. And I appreciate everybody for staying a while to listen. And I will catch y'all on the next video.
My wingman, he come through, he level up, he Goku, he shining out and popping to over 9K. That's a breakthrough. We on top now. Here's a look at all